you shocked that Sam Darnold won a shootout with Stafford?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, but it was amazing to watch. It's why we tune into sports, right? It's not just about the reputation and what you've accomplished in the past. It's like, what are you going to do on this day? And it was, listen, I thought these were the two best teams like we've talked about for a long time, but obviously in all of that analysis but of course the Rams have the better quarterback. And yesterday it was a heavyweight fight between those two quarterbacks, and Darnold got the best of him. And his story, it's a movie. He's 8 years into the league. He's had 5 teams. But he started at 21 years old with the Jets. So he starts with Todd Bowles and Adam Gase. And so it's like, okay, well, I guess you're a bust because you're 22, 23 years old and you had terrible coaching for a dysfunctional franchise. And then you go to another franchise that is dysfunctional in Carolina and you get Matt Rule. And then you have to deal with Baker Mayfield, who was the one guy who was drafted in front of you. And then, all right, I guess now you can't be a starter anymore. So you go and you're a backup for a brilliant coach in Kyle Shanahan, and you just learn. And then you go and you get a weird opportunity in Minnesota that was like a happy accident, but also for a great coach. And now the first team that ever really believes in him and invests in him since the Jets is an objectively good franchise, and it's a good situation. And now he's 28 years old, and he's the favorite to win the Super Bowl and win Super Bowl MVP. And Matt Stafford didn't win a Super Bowl until he was 34. So I just think it's like...
So you're saying that it's on the board, Darnold is just now one of the best quarterbacks in football.
Absolutely.
Like moving forward.
And Brew, I thought last week made interesting, it was totally fair, but you kept saying where you couldn't have him, you couldn't quite put him there because you're not going to forget the first 4 or 5 years of his careers, right? And I think that is obviously fair, and we all do it. But if we all also would agree that those situations, he was either the backup or really young with bad franchises, we should be weighing these most recent data points way more than those old ones. And now it feels like anything is possible in front of Sam Darnold.
I would agree with that. I said earlier, I'm not ready to call him elite.
That's fine.
And I'm not ready to, even if he goes out in the Super Bowl, wins it, plays like he did this weekend, I said I think he goes in the next year, for me, as a tier 2 quarterback. Kind of below that top 5. But I agree with you that he could move into the top 5. I don't think that's off the table now. He has had, and we have stats here for what he's done, I think we can show him, the last 2 years. Well,
yeah.
Okay,
That
this is why y'all play. Yeah, this is the last 2 years. He's been easily top 10 in everything. And now you throw in a Super Bowl. I'm just talking about during next regular season. If halfway through or 6 games in or something, he's cooking. Then it's like, you know what? This dude, he's the real deal. He's already the real deal, but he's elite. You can start arguing him for top 5.
Well, it also here's what it throws into question, because we talked about how the best quarterback classes in league history, the ones that have had 3 or more quarterbacks win 50-plus games, and that his quarterback class had him, Josh, Lamar, and Baker. And he's somehow the first of those 3 to make a Super Bowl. The only of those other 3, so the 4 total to make a Super Bowl. It does make you at least be like, what if one of those guys who are won MVPs already, Josh or Lamar, the Jets had taken them? Seems like what you're talking about. Would those guys, eventually the talent wins out, right? If you get the opportunity, we think, but would they have been, because Lamar and Josh were considered far rawer prospects. They weren't as young as Sam, but so that to me is, it does make you, Kevin Clark makes this point a lot, way more teams fail quarterbacks than quarterbacks fail teams. And Darnold really is crystallizing it because, and I keep referencing it, it really did feel for years like the only person in the national media that believed in this guy was Colin.
That's true.
It was Cowherd. It's not like there were a lot of people that said, man, Darnold is he has
just needs a shot.
And it was more in vogue. There were more people like me that believed in Trevor, certainly, than Darnold. You know what I mean? And so that part to me is a unique question that now applies to a bunch of other quarterbacks that we have just kind of thrown out.
Can I ask you a question? Because you've brought up this, like, you have another data point that Burrow, Super Bowl second year, Caleb Pop second year, Drake in the MVP second year.
Yeah.
That through another lens.
This is Darnold's second year.
No. Through another lens, like, it's got to happen quick or it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be holding on to Kenny Pickett for the stray, for a long time. Like, it's got to pop. So how do you keep those two theories?
I think that it is there. Listen, some guys can ascend past circumstances. And one of the reasons, and I know it's not in vogue right now given the end of his year, that I have believed so much in a guy like Baker is because I think the Browns were dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And still, his second year was third years when they got to the playoffs.
And he had a good rookie.
Right. He had a good rookie year. And so I think there are some situational things, but I think that where it really is true is if you're with a franchise that has a history of not being incompetent and we believe in your coach, you should show it sooner than later.
Yep.
So, like Burrow to me overcame it because I don't know that I believe in the coach. I certainly don't believe in the franchise.
No, I think that's
and
fair.
they found a way there. To directly answer the question, Danny, for me, I did not think it was on the board. If we can show Christina the Stafford-Darnold duel being in the same category as the Allen Mahomes 13-second game, I did not think this graphic could exist in reality. Like that, both quarterbacks just play nails and one guy's got to lose. And so I thought there was a scenario where Darnold outplayed Stafford, but I thought that would have to be because Stafford played poorly. That it would be that Darnold got a B-, but he outplayed him because Stafford turned the ball over a bunch. I did not think it was at all possible that Stafford would play another awesome game against this awesome defense and Darnold would just match him moment for moment, throw for throw.
Well, and, we're watching the game together, and we're trying to first guess all of these decisions. And we've definitely seen games this year where Darnold had gotten a little shaky, maybe taken a bad sack, airmailed a pass, whatever, and then it felt like Seattle kind of, we'll just call a quick bubble screen. Or we'll throw like a one-read throw where it's either it's there or you throw it away. Like, not hiding him, but not totally trusting him. In this game...
Oh, he's feeling it.
He was so, and Brady called it when you hit the deep shot. He said, it makes you feel 9 feet tall as a quarterback. Yep. You could see it in his body language, how he was stepping into throws, all of it, and it was reflected in their play calling. They just kept throwing,
including on the final drive.
Right, they were not playing the clock. They were trusting their quarterback, and that's plenty of teams just play to grind clock and have the other team use timeouts. They trusted their quarterback. It was a huge step for him.
Well, Danny, and here's where he outplayed Stafford. Like, you could argue, Stafford was just as good, but they
this was
didn't
good
win.
Because I feel like this.
Look at the third and fourth down efficiency.
Spin-on thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Darnold was phenomenal in that situation, and Stafford wasn't. And that's the first game in his career, Stafford, no completions on third or fourth down.
And for Darnold, it was 3rd and 9, it was 3rd and 10, it was 3rd and 12. They were some 3rd and longs.
Yep. And all three of his touchdown passes came against pressure too. Like it was the game of his life, his best game in the biggest game of his
career. Can I say one more thing, Danny, and I'll just get your take on this since you're our resident NFC North expert?
Yeah.
We've been talking about people giving up on Darnold. The Jets gave up on Darnold. I watched those games playing the Patriots. Like, Sam Darnold was not good. It's not like, maybe it was bad coaching, maybe it was just a product, but he was not good. We saw the games in Carolina. There was, he was good with CMC. If CMC wasn't there, he was not good. We didn't see much as a backup in San Francisco, but we thought he was getting better. The Minnesota Vikings, if I was a Vikings fan, I would be sick to my stomach right now. Like, hold on. We're not the Jets. This guy balled out for us. We have a good defense, just like the Seahawks have a good defense. We have a star wide receiver, just like Seattle has a star wide receiver. We have a brilliant head coach, just like Seattle has a head coach. So the Jets giving up on Sam Darnold, so be it. That happens. Carolina, we can't identify a quarterback. But the Vikings giving up on Sam Darnold after 14 wins, having him immediately go to the Super Bowl because he can't get over the big game. This is less of a indictment on like Sam Darnold doubters in the media and online, and more so directly at the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, listen, I think that's fair. I think the Vikings had some organizational arrogance where they thought Kevin O'Connell was like, well, I got Kirk Cousins to throw for nearly 5,000 yards, and I got Sam Darnold to do it. I traded up one spot. J.J. McCarthy's cheap. Sam Darnold costs $100 million. I can do it with J.J. McCarthy too.
Now you've got the fourth best quarterback in your division.
Yeah, by a considerable margin.
No, and I mean, we got to see how the offseason shakes out. Probably the worst quarterback in your conference.
And the one you just had is
in the Super
going to come in second place.
And about to just trounce the Patriots.
Second place. He's going to have a rough Super Bowl, but he'll be in the Super Bowl. All right, other side of the ball. Stafford balled out, but it wasn't enough. What was your number one reason the Rams came up short?
These were the two best teams, and I think it came down to one play, and I think Brew was correct, and it was the muffed punt. And I think that there were other little things, like I think Sean McVay, challenge instead timeout instead of challenge.
That was odd.
Yeah. Can you vouch for me on this real quick, Danny?
You're great at it.
The moment it happened, I said just drop your challenge flag. I was like, you're going to call timeout anyway. Right. Your challenge doesn't matter. You do it. Just drop your challenge flag. And then he realized I screwed up because it was going to cost him.
And they had already granted him the timeout. No, you were on it immediately. Like that. It's not the biggest reason, but it contributes. I had no problem with it at the time. We talked about it. When they score the touchdown with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter, kick the extra point. Is that too early? If they had gone for two, make it 31-28, then you only need a field goal to tie late. Like, you think that game's going to be a shootout, too early to chase points. So there were little things. But I've told you guys for 2 months that these were the two best teams, and if the Bears couldn't be in the NFC Championship game, I wanted to see these teams play a third time because I thought it was just very clear. And over 12 quarters of football plus an overtime, if we throw it up, the difference between the two teams was one turnover in the playoffs. I mean, 88-85, yards less than 100, 8 first downs separate them in 3 games, but Rams muffed a punt.
No, and as you said, I thought it did come down to that one play. That's when Seattle took control. They scored on the next play, went up 11, and it was, obviously the Rams came back and made it close, but that's when Seattle had control of the game. And with two teams being this close, 3 points separate them into 3 games, that's all it takes. Now, I do feel that Seattle was the better team. And the reason I picked them was because looking at the regular season, when they had 7 turnovers, the Rams had 1 in the 2 games, and yet they were so close, and Seattle actually won 1. I feel like if they just protect the ball, they should win the game. And that's what they did. And the Rams made 1 turnover, Seattle made none, and that was the difference. And so, but it comes down to that one play, unfortunately, for Xavier Smith.
You guys are right that both of these, the 2 games Seattle won, the Rams had a devastating special teams gaffe. They allow a punt touchdown, they muff a punt. Mm-hmm. Despite all that, the ball is in the MVP's hands inside the 10-yard line with less than 5 minutes left, or with 5 minutes left, down less than a touchdown. And Seattle's defense, which Seattle, under this John Schneider era, their signature has been not only great defense, but great secondaries. Legion of Boom. And, Tariq Woolen was a mid-round pick who was awesome as a rookie, had some struggles better, as of late. Danny's guy, Devin Witherspoon, has been top 5 pick on. They draft Eminwari because they think he can be the Kyle Hamilton for Mike McDonald's defense. They do all that, and you are playing a team who has maybe the best pair of receivers in football, Puka and Devontae, and on 3rd and 4th down, Matt Stafford has to throw to Terrence Ferguson and to Keaton Mumfield because those guys are covered. And that is, I don't know what there is some type of basketball comp where all of a sudden, Mario Chalmers is taking the biggest shot. But that in basketball, it seems to happen a lot.
Yeah.
And because guys are wide open. You're throwing it to well-covered 5th and 6th options because your best options are so blanketed. And so that is, credit Mike McDonald, credit the players, credit John Schneider. But in this moment, I still thought the Rams were going to win, and I was going to hit my huge bet.
Yeah.
That I said, well, you told me to cash out. Never cash out. I never cash out.
Can't be cashing out.
Team
Scared
never
money
cash
doesn't
out.
make money.
Yeah,
Well,
team
it actually
never
does.
cash out.
In fact, it
You would have had a bunch of money.
But regardless, I just want to, you guys are right, but I just give the Seahawks credit for even the Rams almost overcame.
Yeah, I'm also right on that one. Because a long time ago, when I was going through the tape, and I was like, you know what you need to do? Cover Puka.
Yeah.
Remember that? Because that
we're the first to say
first game that Puka, I think, had was it the second game?
Yeah,
Puka had 200 yards.
yards.
And me and Josh stayed late, and I was watching the tape. And I'm like, you know what you need to do? Cover Puka.
Yeah.
And
Run the cover Puka play.
In a game that came down to it, they're like, did you hear Wild say cover Puka? And they did it. Yeah. And you spotted it.
Thanks, kids.
It wasn't pretty in Denver, but we got the W. And by we, I mean all of New England. Patriots did enough to take down Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos by a score of 10-7. A lot of people say, you called a blowout. Like, well, I don't know, 30% of your points. Danny, one of my favorite questions. Did the Patriots win this one, or did the Broncos lose it?
I think the bigger story is the Broncos loss. I think the Broncos lost this game.
Love it.
And I think I'd be sick if I was a Broncos fan. You got to feel like you win the game if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt. And you got to feel like you even could have won the game with Stidham with all of the chances you had early to score and you didn't before the weather came in. Whether it's the obvious one of Sean Payton not kicking to go up, which, for the record, I'm always a go for it on 4th and 1 guy.
Who wanted to kick that there, Danny?
You wanted to kick that one?
You wanted to go for that?
Danny wants to go for it every time.
As soon as I saw them line up, I loved it.
I'm sure. I get it. And listen, and that's what. But what I said was, I wonder what he knew about the weather, because as the forecast is getting worse and it's going to get to be tougher conditions to score. I understand it had been 3 drives and 3 punts. I understand it's 2 scores. I understand it's your backup quarterback. It makes it close. I understand getting it doesn't guarantee a touchdown, but generally speaking, I trust the team that had been running the ball well to gain 1 yard. They called a run. They went to a pass. That's obviously a mistake that got worse as it went on. And then the Patriots scored 1 touchdown on a 12-yard drive because of a fumble that I thought in the moment for 2 minutes afterwards was an incomplete pass. Like, you didn't do anything offensively. You're smiling. You're so happy. But, if you're a Broncos fan, it's like if you have your quarterback, you win.
It's destiny. Right?
If you have your quarterback, you win. If you gain a yard, you win. And if that is ruled an incomplete pass, you probably win. So
If that's we are the ones that got screwed on this. That's a touchdown that they blew the whistle prematurely.
Fortunately,
I was upset that we had to play more football on
No, that
would
should
have
have been a
defensive
touchdown.
score.
Yeah.
Okay, but sure. In the moment, I thought it was a pass, and if Stidham just throws the ball away and doesn't do
just
the
take
one,
the sack,
yeah,
man.
Sure, the one catastrophic thing. So that's why, to me, in the moment, history will not remember it. To the victor goes the spoils. But in the moment, that was more about the Broncos' loss.
I think the bigger story is the Patriots win just because of their history, their franchise, and the quick rebuild, and now all of a sudden you're back in the Super Bowl with another great quarterback. But I think we kind of got 2 questions here. I think Denver lost that game more than the Patriots won it because you just showed it. I mean, that Stidham mistake was the game, essentially. And then Sean Payton not going for it. So I think they definitely, and that's why they're so crestfallen, because they feel like we gave them this game. Our backup quarterback gave them this game.
You want to say something?
No, you can go.
I understand everything you guys are saying.
Oh, yes, you're going to be on my side. Sorry.
Not really.
Here's where I'm going to be. Mike Vrabel outcoached Sean Payton yesterday.
Correct.
Yeah, he did.
Mike Vrabel impressed upon his quarterback, and it ended up being correctly, but it seems like he impressed upon him. The only thing you can't do is make a mistake.
Yep.
And Drake May was like, well, watch this first pass. And once he got once
tried.
didn't catch that.
Can I take you a step further?
Yeah.
Some of those passes, I felt like Drake was going for completion
Yes.
or Or it's because
uncatchable.
Uncatchable.
I know.
But interceptions off the board.
I agree with
Love it.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you're honking his completion percentage all year. I'm telling you, and you don't care about the sack numbers or the fumbles. I'm telling you, there's a cost to it, and I think you saw it in this game a bit. He played a very cautious game. I think his coach told him to. Sean Payton all week. Fans, be ready in 2 weeks. You know, be rested by then. Stiddy is our guy. Everybody believes in him. And there's a good side to that, which is early in the game. Stiddy's like, man, watch me uncork this.
Pretty good.
There's a bad side to that, which is late in the game. He's running backwards, so they're thinking he's Caleb Williams, and he fumbles the ball. Late in the game, at the very end, they were down 3 with 2:10 left. Going with the wind in Mile High. And Lutz, I don't think it's fair to say, was bad. I know he missed the kicks, but one got blocked. Right. And he just chucks it up. So Mike Vrabel made sure his team didn't make the catastrophic mistake. And Sean Payton, who told us all year this team was going to the Super Bowl and told us going into it that, they'd be back in 2 weeks, they just lost a home AFC championship.
You picked him.
I did pick them. They did cover.
They did cover.
Yeah.
Oh, you won
got
that?
it.
Good.
They got the win.
I'm glad.
How'd Parkins picks do?
1-1, but
That's okay.
I won the
How'd no
playoffs.
upsets do? 2-0, baby.
Let's play a little game of he said, we said.
Who the hell is that?
Well, that's Sean Payton, Drake May, and Matt Stafford on the he said side, and
I like it.
we'll figure it out on the we said
I like
side.
it.
I actually think I look handsome.
I like
my
it.
blue eyes are radiant, just like in real life.
Like Steve Harvey.
Thank you. First up, we hear from Matthew Stafford on his future. So I understand why people are asking him about his future, and Sean McVay got a little snippy. And it's a legitimate question. You're 38 years old. You considered retirement last year and all that. He's coming back. He made it to the NFC Championship game. He's going to win MVP. He led the league in passing. He led the league in touchdowns by a considerable margin. And I don't know how much this matters to him, but it would certainly matter to me. He's 1,700 yards and change from passing Aaron Rodgers to be 5th all time.
Oh, well.
In passing yards. If he plays 2 more years, has 7,500 more passing yards, he would pass Brett Favre and Peyton Manning and finish 3rd all time in passing behind Brady and Breeze. I'd keep playing if I was Matt Stafford, if I'm at the peak of my powers like he was this year.
Yeah, I think, listen, the bottom line, his stats and tape don't lie. He played at an extremely high level. I think what's going to help him, not that he needs it, but if there was a notch to say to bring him back, it's the fact that he was only sacked 23 times this year, right? His offensive line kept him upright. He didn't crawl into the playoffs. We didn't see him peel himself off the turf like we saw Herbert this year. Nevertheless, I can see the Rams being in the same position next year in the NFC Championship, doing the same thing, competing against the Seahawks. So for him, I understand not making a declaration, but I'm with you, DP. He'll be back.
Yeah, I think he'll be back, but it's always challenging to ask a player that question. And I get it. You're a reporter. You got to ask that question because typically, like Nick Bonito, you want the emotional reaction. You want that guy. You want that soundbite.
And even no answer is an answer.
Correct.
Players are not going to like it, but reporters have to do it. It's just the name of the game.
But there's a level of we tend to lock in grief in lockstep with death. But any type of a loss like this in sport, there's a grieving process that takes place. And so right now, we saw Davante Adams as well, and he couldn't even form words. He's on autopilot. So he's just giving a response. Yeah. He wants to play, but he's not thinking about the offseason right now because
shell-shocked.
You just lost from possibly getting your second chance at winning a Super Bowl. It's a lot to take in. But he had a heck of a year. The one thing I will say, I don't think that they could be the same type of high-powered offense with both of those receivers. Davante doing what he did this year, it was good. I don't know if that's sustainable moving forward, where he can have that same level of production.
Well, McVay, Stafford, Davante, Puka, it's a pretty high floor for an offense.
It is.
You're going to be good.
It is. But I'm all about the separation. Davante is starting to look a little different. Is he a great player? Absolutely. He proved that this year. He still can get open. He still can be an impact player. But moving forward, I just feel like you need something else. You need a third option. We saw that fourth down play.
Let's hear from Drake Maye, the other quarterback who lost on Championship Sunday. That's up next on He Said, We Said. What do we got? This is one of those games where history, like we'll look at it from 10 years and wow, Drake Maye only had less than 100 passing yards in an AFC Championship game. Like, that's weird. But you had to great pass rush on the other side. They were trying to get it out quick. The elements got crazy as the game went on. And the other thing is, it doesn't really matter. Like, as long, like in the playoffs, like you win, right? Like,
get it done.
Like Ben Roethlisberger in his Super Bowl win, his first one.
Yeah.
2 interceptions, no touchdowns, completed less than 50% of his passes, but he's a champion.
He won.
Tom Brady, his first Super Bowl run, 1 touchdown pass in the 3 games, but it counts as one of his 7. So like we're not gonna. History is not really going to remember the details for Drake Maye. They're just going to say, oh, at 23 years old, he got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, I actually like the way he continued to play. Obviously, the elements changed the dynamic of throwing the football. He was the quarterback that probably had the stronger arm and to get through the elements. However, he also was the quarterback that could use his legs. And that's what he put on display for me. He didn't turn the ball over like he had done in the previous 2 games and matchups because of the pass rush and them getting to him and sacking him. They did sack him. He didn't put the ball on the ground. He protected the football. He did exactly what he needed to do to allow his defense to end up winning that game.
Yeah, you need a run game and a defense to pop off the tape this time of year, and that's exactly what the Patriots did. I thought the Patriots defense put on a masterpiece. You're talking about sacking Stidham 3 times, 2 takeaways, a blocked field goal. I mean, they pretty much shut him down the second half of the game, and I think it was obvious. Vrabel told Drake Maye, don't turn over the ball. This game is a wrap. And he, listen, him calling his shot at the end of that game for that first down to seal it, that just shows
that was a great
that
moment.
was like, I'm like, the kid he's clearly dialed in. Like, he went for it. So I'm happy for the Pats, man. It's going to be an interesting one, but it's going to be, hopefully it's a good Super Bowl. That's all I care about.
And I'll say this, like and we're as guilty of it as anybody, we talk about the quarterbacks a lot.
Yeah.
But I always say, this isn't the NBA. It's not like one superstar just by, like, that is the Broncos defense, huge piece of that game. Patriots defense, huge piece. Coaching, special teams. Football is the ultimate team game. Quarterback matters more than anyone else individually, but a great quarterback can be on the losing team if the other team is better. Drake Maye, fewest passing yards for a starting quarterback who has won 3 games en route to a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer. Jalen Hurts, and Drake Maye. But Jalen Hurts and Trent Dilfer,
Super Bowl champions.
And so I'm not saying that Drake Maye will have the career of Trent Dilfer. I think Drake Maye is going to be a star in this league for a long time. But it's very common for a quarterback, especially early, to be carried by coaching and defense to winning in the postseason.
Yeah,
it's totally common.
This also feels slightly different for Drake Maye because of what we saw the entire duration of the regular season. Like, he wasn't carried by this defense. He wasn't carried.
No, he was absolutely amazing, but they also played an easy schedule.
They did.
And they started off 1-2, by the way.
Right, and then they played hard defenses in the playoffs, and they've been carried now by their defense.
But I think the exposure and the experience that you garner from all of those games led to him not making those boneheaded decisions, dropping back, losing the ball, not throwing the ball away, different things like that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.